Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. Your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Justin Frederick and Ryan Gerdes, whom earlier in the week announced his candidacy for President of the United States. You've got at least 2 votes.
Yeah.
3, because Quentin is now 18 and
Hey.
he can vote himself. All right, if you
Run,
are...
Ryan, run. Should that be my campaign motto?
If you're here right now, traveling and vacationing and staying here from the state of California, you might be here for spring training, golf, whatever the case is. If you're here from California, I am just telling you, don't go back. Never go back. Just stay here, and we can help you do that. All you got to do is text the word electric to 623-AZ-RECON. That's electric to 623-AZ-RECON.
Boogie, woogie, woogie,
Now,
woogie.
I can make fun of Californians because I am from Southern California, born and raised in the San Fernando Valley, home of the Valley Girl. Thank you to Nicolas Cage for making the Valley Girl famous for us. And I got out a long time ago, guys, and we joke, it's laughable sometimes, the crazy laws and ideas that California lawmakers come up with. This is serious. And a lot of experts are predicting we're going to see even a larger exodus from the state of California over this new law. So basically, what California is stating with this new law that is supposed to go into effect next year, your utility bill will be based on your income. In pretty much every state, in Arizona, you are charged, your utility bill is based on your usage. How much energy, how much electric are you using? The state of California, Ryan, this is crazy to me. This new law states that your electric bill will not necessarily be based on usage. That'll be part of the equation, but it'll also be based on your income level to help, lower income families afford it by charging people who make more money, charging them more money on their utility bill.
And to upgrade the California's aging power grid more equitably, is how they put it. And so I read this, and the reality is the numbers aren't like crazy. If you make under $28,000 a year, you're going to save about $300 a year. If you make over, 180, you're going to have to essentially cough up an extra $500 a year. So, I mean, it's not crazy, but we all know where this story ends, right? Well, keeps going. They're going to start.
Keep going.
They're going to say, oh, well, we got them to bite the hook. Let's go ahead and create a more,
Utopian
equitable matrix, right? And so I see all this, and I'm just like, I mean, there's something in the salt water that they're drinking there, because I just can't imagine that ever floating in Arizona. But
It would never float in Arizona.
right, and so my question for them would be is how does that all map out for people who are doing solar? So if you're making over $180,000 and you have a solar grid, do you get to now charge the California utility system
Don't be
a premium?
stupid. Don't be stupid.
Right,
You
yeah.
know the answer to that stupid question.
But like I'm just over here sitting back thinking like, how in the hell are they getting away with this crap? Because it does add up. I mean, you have a lot of these people that are just stacked up on one another, and of course, if you're near the coast and you own real estate and you're paying the bill on it, then hey. Now, my real question, which is not a stupid question, is how does that work for tenants and homeowners? So if I make over $180,000 a year, I buy a home, and I rent it out to somebody who's making under $28,000,
And they're paying the utility bills.
paying the utility bill. Who, I mean,
They would be on the utility bill.
which
the
income
tenant.
reigns supreme though? Because I could easily see them saying, well, no, the owner is making well over $180,000 a year, and seeing them trying to bend that into their favor. So I guess as a landlord and as a wealth manager, I would want to see how that plays out.
Justin, when I first read this, I get angry. This is America. I get angry. It doesn't matter. You should never be penalized because you took advantage of the American system. But then after the anger subsides, I just laugh because I no longer live there.
100%. But you should pay for what you use. You know, just because.
And you should know what that costs.
Right. Just because I went to college and I got a degree and I'm making good money, I shouldn't be paying for a wattage. What is it? A wattage? Kilowatt. That's what it is. A kilowatt differently than anybody else.
I just pulled that out
you know,
of my
unless
ass.
I think that's
You're
actually
right.
what it is. But I shouldn't be paying anything different for that kilowatt if I'm living in the same charged area. But how many? I want to know how many people do you think actually make less than 28,000 living in California?
Business owners.
Business owners. So they actually have it. They're just not showing it, right?
Right.
But what's minimum wage in California?
It's over $20 an hour. I forgot what it is. They're one of the higher ones.
So $20 an hour.
They keep rolling. They keep rolling out
an hour
increases.
is more than 28. So what I'm seeing here is there's not going to be any savings, generally speaking, unless you're a business owner. There's going to be more charging. That's what I'm seeing.
If you're
here.
homeless, you get, wait a minute. If you're homeless, you don't have a utility.
No, you're just plugging into somebody else's. You use your razor outside.
The shopping cart rental's a lot less, as if I rented a shopping cart because of my income level.
That was a lame joke, but I had to just throw it out there.
Did I just get into trouble? Am I gonna get
Nah.
All right. If you are, it doesn't matter what state you're from. If you are here visiting and or curious about the Arizona life and just, I don't even want to say our politics, just our way of life and how we treat our citizens, because this is what it comes down to. You're vilifying people that make more money than other people,
Or make less.
Well, you're not. You're catering to them in California, and we would love to have a conversation with you about real estate in Arizona, what it looks like. All you got to do is text the word electric to 623 AZ Recon. That's electric to 623 AZ Recon. This is so absurd, guys. I'm just going to throw it to you because I don't even know where to go from here. This is one of the most absurd things. Let's talk about Arizona.
Well, yeah, we don't have that. Matter of fact, though, for the most part, you can subsidize your electricity and utility bills significantly through solar, and we got that in spades. What do we have, like 15 days a year that we don't see the sunshine?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've already had our 15 this year.
Yeah.
We're due for a big summer, a hot summer.
It's going to be a hot summer.
Yeah. But this is wild to me. This is I feel like this is just a ploy to make money, because if you really look at it, again, minimum wage is well above $28,000 a year. I mean, you got fixed income individuals, but even I don't see many fixed income individuals. Individuals, yes, but jointly, I don't see many people making under the $28,000 a year.
And if they do, they probably don't own a home.
Unless they've owned that home for 50
forever.
years, right? And
I've got it.
Oh boy.
what is it?
I know how to play devil's advocate on this thing. Okay. Because the government keeps absorbing ideas of what God-given rights are. So God-given rights being insurance, transportation, education, and so whether they can afford it or not, it is being paid for by either the taxpayer or by the individual, right? And so now it seems to me like they're folding in utilities into God-given rights. So you cannot live if you don't have electricity, right? You cannot properly
In
run
Arizona.
a household. Well, I mean, that's what they're that's the only conclusion that I can draw to where that would make any sense, is to say that electricity is a God-given right, and if you have to turn off lights because you can't afford it, then here's our way of paying or helping subsidize that.
What I think the biggest problem here is it's boredom. You've got, and I'm starting to see a little craziness in Arizona too. Okay, but when you have state lawmakers who get paid full time to enact new laws then they have so much time on their hands. They sit around and figure out how in the heck how can we screw with people more? How about let's do this? How about we do that?
You guys seem too happy.
Yeah, I was like, hey, what are you
Let's
doing
stir
today?
this pot
I
a
don't
little
have
bit.
much going on right now. Well, let's figure out how we can screw people over, and they come up with this stupid stuff.
Yeah, and it leads me to, like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, like earlier this week had talked about, how National Association of Realtors and how there's these class action lawsuits basically that are implying that there's monopolies going on, right? But like over there, the monopoly is NAR with the sellers, and over here, Arizona too. How are these utility companies not creating a monopoly? And then now they're getting the government involved, and they're only strengthening that monopoly.
So here's my next question. So how are you going to qualify for this? So am I required to send my tax returns to a private company to review in order to have utilities? Am I required to send my pay stub over to them, or is this stated?
Yeah.
Am I stating what my income is? Because I feel like I don't want to share my documentation with a company that
random utility company.
Right. It's not like I'm trying to get a loan from them or anything.
So they're just going to default
and I'm forced to use them.
They're going to default to, hey, you're paying $500 more a year unless you can prove
Probably.
that you make either between that 180 and 28
Probably.
window or less.
What drives me nuts is, and I for those people who aren't familiar with the Valley of the Surface of the Sun, we basically have two major utility providers. We have SRP and we have APS. And I can't think of offhand which one of them advertises at, I still call it the Bank One Ballpark, but this Chase Field where the Diamondbacks play. I think it's APS. They've got a big giant sign out there. And what drives me nuts, whether it's SRP or APS, is where I live, I don't have an option. I have APS. I can't choose SRP. So why is a utility company spending tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to advertise at a sporting facility when there's no need to advertise because I don't have a choice? It's just one
I
of
don't
those
have a choice either.
drives
right?
me nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, we're going to go ahead and up our price per unit in order to pay for this advertising. Yeah, it
All right.
doesn't make
So
any
real
sense,
quick,
dude.
let's wrap up. Let's state the case for Arizona. We have so many people here for spring training and visiting here. You two are both Arizona natives. I am, again, from Southern California.
You're honorary. I'll say something nice to you, even though you probably don't deserve
It
it.
pains me to admit it, but I appreciate that,
Yeah,
pal.
you bet, dude.
But I came out here from Southern California, moved out here in 1993. I bought my first house somewhere around 1998, 1999, somewhere in that time frame. Arizona offered me something Southern California would never have offered me, within that decade. Affordability and a place to raise a family and a great lifestyle. And it's just, Arizona, to me, I could never see myself going back to California. I couldn't afford to go back to California. Even as much as I make now, I would be, I wouldn't be under $28,000, but I can tell you right now, I'd be saying, hey, I need a little break on my utility bill. Arizona, if you're traveling, if you're visiting here, text the word electric to 623-AZ-RECON. Let us help you explore what it's like here.
Well, on the personal side for me, I love being outdoors. We have every ecosystem known to man here in one state, anywhere from high tundra to low desert, right? And so if you're getting too hot in the summertime, just jump in your car and drive for a couple of hours, and you're in Flagstaff and or the White Mountains or a number of different places and cool off, and vice versa, right? So I love that. I love that there's so much to offer community involvement. I have kids, I have family, and so doing all these different things that we can do water parks. There's parks all over the place where we can do fun stuff. On the professional side, they'd make it very easy to transact here, right? So if you want to own and start up a business, I don't care what it is, you're going to have the least amount of friction in our state than
I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not trying to be, joke here. We saw that during COVID.
oh, of
Like
course.
we were pro business during COVID.
Yep, yep. And so, whether it be from easily obtaining permit or easier to obtain permits to the tax situation to the workforce, it's easy to get work, right? And so, on that front, I love it for those big key factors.
And as far as strategy goes, I'm here from California. I'm here from Idaho. Not quite ready to pull up roots from where I'm at. Home prices are going to continue to go up here. We know, we work with a lot of people say, hey, you know what? Mike Ryan, introduce me to Justin. Let's get pre-qualified. Take me out. Let's buy something. I'll have it as a rental, and now I have that option to always come back to Arizona when the time is right.
Yeah, and even as being a local native, I keep my property up in Alaska, and I can come back here in the winters and enjoy it, and it's and again, just kind of sticking with that word friction. There's very little friction here. Now, I can't speak that intelligently on every other state because I've only really lived here. I spent a small little stint in Florida, and other than that, that's it. So, but I do know that it's been easy, and I know that we're just seeing people moving here in droves that are validating what I'm saying. So it's a no-brainer.
All right, well, we'd love to have this conversation with you about the great state of Arizona. It's not as simple as just driving around and picking an area and go by. We will explain the different areas and what they offer you, whether you are an investor, a buyer, second home buyer, whatever the case is. Again, we'd love to have that conversation with you. All you got to do is text the word electric to 623-AZ-RECON. Get the hell out of California as soon as you can. Text the word electric to 623-AZ-RECON.